Are we live?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Welcome to the new podcast. Now, I'm sure many of you guys have heard that we've posted our new album trailer, the Riga post. So, now, hey Stanley, get back. Did I just say hey to a Riga? Get back to work! Dang. So to start off this beautiful new podcast, what's the hardest Riga to catch on your plantation?
I don't really have.
Oh, you've got some obedient Rigas.
Yeah, they're afraid of being whipped. I guess I whip them hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at what you've got.
Sorry, this is passed down the master.
Oh, master film. Okay, yeah. So, I guess this. So basically, what's the best thing you look in when buying a new Riga?
Well, I actually have had to buy a few more Rigas because they weren't being obedient.
Yeah.
So I kind of whipped them, and
So you need to be careful with when you're buying Rigas.
I usually find one that looks like a bit rough, but looks more like better, because then you know they're an obedient Riga, because they get treated well by the other masters. And if it looked all rough and ugly and scruggly, then that means it's a bad Riga getting whipped all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what I look when I'm
Well, you've got to look if the hands and feet are the only things scraggly, then that means they're good in the field because they're using their hands and feet a lot.
Yeah.
Doing lots of grabbing and working. What I look for in a Riga usually is I just make sure they're obedient. Like whatever master is selling the Riga, I'll make them go through a little course. Like I'll say, alright, now tell your Riga to do this. And if the Riga's obedient, obeying the master's every command, then that's what I look for in a Riga. So you don't want to get scammed. Some masters the Rigas will paint themselves so they don't look like fish. Sometimes Rigas will paint themselves so that they look like fish. Sorry. So then, after you purchase the Riga, it'll take off the paint and you'll realize that it's some other fish, like a bass or something. So, yeah. Ashley Beans has a story that she collected. It's actually a plan from that she confiscated from one of her Rigas trying to escape.
This wasn't actually my fault. I had big plans on. I was going to find a new Riga.
Yeah.
And my Rigas were being not very obedient that day. So I had a very, very good assistant that's been with me for a very, very long time. So I trusted him. I trusted him to watch my Rigas for the whole day. And it turned out really badly because I've lost the Riga. So, I'll tell you a story. Stanley's story. So his name was Stanley. Once upon a time, Stanley was living a horrible life.
Very disobedient Riga.
He would never be able to eat and would get whipped if he complained or did his work bad. And if he ever planned, and he had a plan to escape ever since he was 4 years old. And one day he had a plan to escape through the cornfields. And sketched out a plan. The next day he ran the fastest he had ever ran in his life. So this is a little sketch he planned out right here. Maybe you could zoom in later today, but
Yeah.
So ever ran in his life. The master almost saw him. He trained every day ever since he was 4 to make an escape. it's the first thing
The Riga's handwriting is bad. That's why she's taking so long. Very bad handwriting. They don't learn how to write.
So this is actually the Riga's handwriting. This is the story I found in his Riga post.
Yeah.
And I also read a story about him because he was also on the news. So once I get down to it, I'll understand because it's my handwriting. But tried every day since he was 4 to make an escape. He made it up. He made it out. The first thing he did was rob food because he did not know how to get food since he has been in the fields his whole life. But then he robbed a bank, and a house, and cars, and made a house from all his Riga's work. He used to do all the work he used to do. And while robbing food, he found his favorite food, corn, since he escaped through a cornfield. And his favorite drink is water, because that's the only drink he's ever had. And his favorite car, he doesn't really have one. He usually likes bikes. And then he robbed everything. Now, in his pool, resting. To be continued.
We don't know the rest of the story of the Rigas. Here, show him the post.
So, that's his pool, and that's actually how he escaped. He painted himself like a human. So, yeah. That's how he did it. He just made himself look like a human. That's the last time I've ever seen him, I think.
That's how he escaped, because the masters, the assistant masters, were looking for a Riga sprat. He looked like a human, so they had no idea he was a Riga sprat. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the Rigas do. Oh, is there a Riga escaping?
Wait.
Get those Rigas! Get those Rigas! Come on! Don't let them escape like that. Hold on. Let me flex my assistant with it. My large assistant with it.
Oh yeah, I got him.
You got him? Back to the post.
Yeah.
Best master in town. Anti-Riga shield. So, top 10 Rigas. What are your top 10 Rigas? What do you say are the best Rigas?
My top 10 Rigas. My top 10 Rigas is probably George.
George, okay.
Also Vinny.
Vinny.
I don't know. Kix is also not a bad one, but he could be a bit better, you know.
He still gets lashed a lot.
Yeah.
It's
less than.
In my free time, I work as an assistant for her, so I know all of her Rigas. What about Jamal?
I mean, he's okay.
He's not too bad of a Riga.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends what days though, because sometimes he has a little attitude. But I always put the internet.
Yeah. Oh, and he's which.
But he is a young Riga, so. I understand he has an attitude because he is a young Riga. Still.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's also pretty caring. He actually sometimes acts like an assistant Riga, but sometimes I whip him real hard for that because we know he ain't in charge. So I always tell him he can't do that, but sometimes he plays with the Rigas, play little games like that.
Yeah.
And I always make it into that because.
Yeah, that's just not. Yeah, he's not a master.
But anyways, I'm gonna give you a little spoiler of our album. Downtown Rigas, downtown Rigas, downtown Rigas. Downtown Rigas, downtown Rigas.
Yeah.
Chasing all Rigas downtown. Downtown Rigas, downtown Rigas. Chasing the Rigas downtown. It's not completely done yet. It's in the album, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, my mask.
Is that a Riga?
Is that a Riga?
Is that a Riga in the studio? Yeah, pull an end to that. Yeah. Don't misbehave again. Field rat.
Sometimes they can be pretty bad, but.
We might need another one. Oh, yeah.
Downtown Rigas. Oh, it's not on. Can you turn it on, mate? Trust me, I ain't British. Nothing wrong with it,
Okay, calm down. Spoilers aren't till the end. We gotta make them all.
Downtown Rigas.
Okay. Wait till the end. Calm yourself.
So, guys, I'm so excited.
Yeah, the new album, bro. Oh, yeah. You guys gotta watch the trailer. Alright.
No, cut that out.
So, why do you like being a master so much? What are the benefits of owning Rigas over traditional workers?
Well, sometimes when you're like angry, you could get your anger out on them by whipping them. And so you don't feel bad doing it, because sometimes they ain't be picking the crops faster, but...
Yeah.
There's vitamin C in cereal?
Oh, yeah.
But isn't vitamin C like lemons?
Oranges.
And oranges? But this is honey!
Okay. We're talking about Rigas here, quit being bad. Now, what is your top 10 lines when chasing your Rigas? What do you say to your Rigas when you're chasing them?
Get back here! You're not gonna eat for 2 months! You're getting whipped when I see you again! Start whipping them.
Yeah.
But
I
after
usually
running
like
away,
to say, after running away, what do you say to them?
after running away, I said, get back here, you're not eating for 2 months. Or something like that. But they never really run away because I can usually get them fast enough.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been able to not get a Riga.
Usually what I say is, you better get back here. If you get back here in 10 seconds, maybe I'll think about not making you eat. I mean, not whipping you. But then, sometimes that'll work and they'll come back and I'll whip them anyways. No matter what they do. So, yeah. It works though. Because they think you're not going to whip them. But you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to whip you. Just come back. I'll give you some food. And then, once they get back, whip them. Whip them until they never want to get out of the post again.
Yeah. Also, face reveal coming at 2 billion subscribers. You can't see my toes.
Okay, we might need to cut this section out. Alright. So, what are your thoughts on the up and coming album, the Riga Post?
I'm so excited.
The Riga Post, and what do you think is gonna be the best song on the Riga Post?
I'm very confident in Downtown Rigas.
Yes, Downtown Rigas is my personal favorite. Coming at the end of this month, by the way. So let's wait till the end of this podcast to start talking about Downtown Rigas or the Riga Post in
how
general.
long are we thinking the podcast can be?
I'm thinking maybe like 30 minutes to an hour.
So.
So, let me think here. So, now let's switch over to the section of, just telling stories about Rigas. So, when I was first starting out as a master, less experience, I had this Riga named named Frindilla, and Frindilla, he was a very troublesome Riga because at the time I didn't really know how to find good riggers, let's say. So this was before I got my Riga finding kit down. So basically, what Frindilla would do is whenever I would walk inside or go to sleep, he would leave the post and start stealing the crop. And when he would start doing that, I started noticing that I wasn't making as much off of the crops anymore ever since I brought Frindilla. So when I found out what he was doing through my Riga post cameras and my church people cameras, so I found out what he was doing, and since I was an inexperienced master, I wasn't used to, I wasn't fully good at whipping, so my whipping skills weren't that good. So I didn't really want to whip them because I was embarrassed, and if I knew that if they saw how bad my whipping skills were, they wouldn't obey. So what I did was I slapped Frindilla in the face, and I sold him for 27 cents on the Riga marketplace. And
I'll teach him some of his whipping skills.
Yeah. Well, this was when I was first hired as a master. I'm very good at whipping now.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, Frindilla, he was stealing crops and sharing with the other Rigas. And so all the other Rigas liked him. And what the other Rigas did after was they started protesting and stealing all my crops. But so there was 15 Rigas just all stealing crops in front of me, just protesting. And so what I would do, since I didn't want them to know that my whipping was bad, so what I did was I sprayed them with the hose. But that obviously didn't work, and so I do that every day, losing tons of money on crops because I would lose 3/4 of my crops whenever they would riot and steal crop. So what I started doing was Icee Beans was actually a more experienced master at the time, so I would call Icee Beans, and she would teach them a good lesson. Let's just say they'd never riot again. In fact, I would have to use
Yeah, he used to be not that great as a master.
I used to fire this thing in the air.
But now he is an amazing master. If you even need it, if you need help with any of your guys, hit us up. We'll come.
So I would also be shooting this in the air, but they knew that they were being good Rigas and I wouldn't do it. So yeah, that didn't really work. So Icee was actually really a good help on my first Riga post.
But now he's an amazing master.
And assistant master on Icee Beans Plantation. So what are your stories on naughty or misbehaving Rigas, if you've had any? Maybe when you're starting off, because everybody, Alright, we're back.
Okay.
So
my story is, I actually have an interesting fact about me. I'm really good at math.
Really? What's 345 times 3,647? She doesn't know, guys.
1,265,509. It up.
Almighty.
It up.
Okay. It's dead.
Yeah, I know.
see it. Let's see it. I'll do it on here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, she got it right.
Yes, I believe it is. I'm right.
I'll put it right here, guys. I'll put it right here.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm horrible. I suck at
She
math.
calculated that.
Yeah, suck at math.
No fake news. Did y'all Rigas think it was true? Alright.
Hey,
So,
wanna grilled cheese?
now what's
Wanna
Yep.
grilled cheese?
after the show?
I'm gonna make one right now. Be right back.
Oh. Well, so I think now it's time to talk about the topic of and well, while we wait for icee to get back. So basically, I think we should at this point talk about the topic of discipline on your Rigas. Discipline is very important for your Rigas, especially if your Rigas came and they were disobedient from their last owner not disciplining them enough. So now what you're going to want to do, so basically just start disciplining them for the more simple things. Like say a Riga's caught eating crops. Just give them a bit of discipline, just a few lashings. Not too much. Just so they know that they can't do that. And they'll get whipped if they do that. So, and then, as the Riga gets older and more experienced, you're gonna want to discipline them for more and more subtle things. Like, so, say, there's a Riga that's been working on your post for 2 years, or 2 months, and they're caught stealing crops. So just, you give that Riga 2 lessons. But say, hey, around 10 more years go by, it's a very experienced working Riga. You're gonna lash it in for very subtle things. Like, if the Riga is barely barely picking crops and you know they can do much better, you just give them a lashing. And if you keep doing that, just as they get more experience, just hit them with more subtle things, and your Rigas will be very obedient and listen to what you say. And you can also use the whip to manipulate, just like, if hey, go plow that field. And then, if they're like, oh no master, I don't want to, and you just,
You want my famous
give them
sandwich?
huh?
Would you like my famous
Oh yeah,
sandwich?
of course.
Oh, yeah.
Just give them a few lashings. So, now that the topic of Riga discipline is over, now we're going to talk about the different types of Rigas and the difference is between the Rigas. So, the oiled Riga scratch and oil. So these Rigas, they tend to not be as obedient because it's just oil. It doesn't really it's not really like it's a fresh Riga. To put it straight, it's a fresh Riga. No masters have gone to them yet. Fresh out of the factory, just oil and Riga. These Rigas are less obedient because you're gonna be the first master. These Rigas, I recommend lots of discipline when you first get them. Oh yep, that's the sound of Rigas. And so, yeah. So those Rigas, I just recommend lots of discipline when you first get them, especially if they're a young Riga. And so, also I'm talking about the round canned Rigas. The square canned Rigas, very different. But we'll talk about those in a little bit. So, now the type of Rigas I will talk about is the Rigas that have the tomato sauce on them, or the tomato paste. So these Rigas very seasoned. So they are a bit tempered. Even some of the more experienced Rigas. So those Rigas, they're gonna need lots and lots of discipline in order to be an obedient Riga. So those Rigas, except once, they are very hard workers. So once you get them cracked and obedient, they are very hard workers. They will work on your plantations, and yeah, one of the best Rigas you can get if you're able to get them obedient, because those Rigas are very feisty. And now, the third type of Riga that I want to talk about is the square canned and Rigas in oil. And those Rigas, just like the oiled the regular oiled Rigas, oiled canned Rigas, and so they're just like those, except since they come in bigger packs, the Rigas they really like to protest, those Rigas. Just like regular Rigas, which is kind of a bad combination because they have power in numbers. So if you have a lot, I would not recommend getting more than around, I would say stay under 10 if you get those types of Rigas, because they have power in numbers, and even if you have like 3 masters working on your field, then those Rigas could overpower. So that's just something to worry about. They are the most affordable Rigas though. And now the second, or no, the fourth type of Riga I would like to talk about is the 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 square canned tomato sauce Rigas. So these types of Rigas, just like the last one, they're just like their circle counterpart, except they're even spicier since they contain more sauce. So basically these Rigas, what that means is they've got a temper. And if you make them mad, just like the other Rigas, if you have more of them, they'll get it. Basically, the more you have, the harder they are to control. If you have a mix of the oiled square Rigas and the tomato sauce square Rigas, then that's okay. Just as long as neither of them go over 10 Rigas. You can have a mix that goes up to 20 Rigas. And you can also mix in, the circles and the squares. And so basically, these types of Rigas, the square tomato sauce Rigas, power in numbers, very high temper. But the tomato sauce, the square Rigas, when you have more, they work harder together also. But they're very hard to get disciplined, and so you need tons of discipline, and they're very hard to get obedient. So those types of Rigas, yeah, that's basically it for those types of Rigas. So there's 4 different types of Rigas. And so now that we got onto the topic of different types of Rigas, I would like to talk about whip types. So now, what I have right here is, look, so first what I've got, anti-Riga steel. Now, anti-Riga steel is very important. You do not want your Riga stealing your whip. That's worst case scenario. So you see, it tightens around my arm, so if a Riga tries to grab it, it pulls tight. Now you see? And you can also use this side to catch Rigas. As you can see, you push it over, it tightens up, and you can kind of lash on them. That only works with very small Rigas, though. So, anti-Riga steel is very important. You do not want your Rigas getting a hold of your whips. So now, this particular length that I have, so, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, four. This is a four. This is a 4-pipe whip, which this length is good for catching Rigas, but also inflicting lots of power. And this is a single point, which is one of the worst points, but I do put better points onto whips. The 3-point whip is a lot like this whip, except there's three pipes on the front. Look, one right here, and one right here. And then, so there's 3 different prongs. This is good because it'll bounce around the Riga. There's weight on it, so you can throw it hard. So they're very good for lassoing Rigas. And now, another whip type is the 3-point pronged. So the 3-point pronged is just like the 3-point, except every point is pronged. So you see, just like this, it's pointy right here, and then every point is just boom like that. So those very good for grappling because as you can see, the point is just like it lashes around and it digs into them. They're closed, and you get them, you lasso them, and they're very painful. Now, I'll show you did she leave her whip? Oh no. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll go get permission to show you guys her whip. Okay, I'm back. So, I got permission to show you guys Icee's whip. This whip is very good. Very good. This is the best whip you can get, the most painful. It is small, but see. So, this is actually a brilliant form of anti-Riga steel. So what you do with this form of anti-Riga steel, Icee, she has the best whip. So you see these 2 fingers, you put it on to there, then just hold it like normal. Your Rigas will not steal them.
We could do it.
There's only a 2-point whip.
You talk. You talk.
So, now, so I'll show these. This is a 2-pipe whip, which will add lots of pain and weight. So you wrap them around for weight. She's got a 3-prong setup, but actually put it on the screen, the tips. But actually a fish hook tip, which is very good for her. It's the best tip for bringing them back, and the most. Yeah.
It's supposed to be more like that.
Yeah, and show it again.
Fish hook.
And so basically,
make the pointy sides
it's
go
very
so
thick at the end, so that you can put lots of power behind that whip. We're gonna have to stop it very soon because we're already past our deadline. But yeah, I'm thinking after this we'll start doing the leaks and talking about the Riga Post album.
Now it's done. Did you talk about your whip?
Oh yes. And actually, this is the other side of my whip. If I really want to, I can extend it. So look, this is the extension, and this is the whip. So, I have a very big whip when I want to. And so, the end of this one, basically.
I didn't turn it all the way on max, just on low so it didn't cook that well.
So look, this loop, it makes it really easy for me to add different tips. And I have a fish hook on this side, and I've got weight, pretty standard head, and no ditty, and so now I think it's best that we switch to the leaks and yap about the Riga Post. Yeah. So when do you think the Riga Post is gonna come out?
The Riga Post, we're thinking
March 2nd.
March 2nd to the 7th?
Yep.
But if we have to, we will postpone it and have it.
We may not, that's just an estimation.
Yeah.
Just an estimation. So now we'll do some So what do you think the beat's gonna sound like for Downtown Rigas?
Like, downtown Rigas, 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 downtown Rigas.
Yeah.
That was just out of breath.
Yeah, so that's just a little concept. So, some of you might be thinking, why is, the song in the Riga Post trailer, why is it so quiet? Well, so, we didn't want to leak it fully, because, we're gonna be making changes to Down Rigas. The song that's featured in our trailer is called Down Rigas. That's kind of just a demo of what the song's gonna sound like. So, Down Rigas may sound very different on the final album. So, yeah. And, I'll wait for Icee because I'm thinking next week talk about, Icee's channel and why it hasn't been up yet. So, I'll just pause and wait for her to, get here, and then we'll start talking about that.
This
Now.
is the classic icee sandwich. It is the best
Icee's
sandwich
finished
ever.
our sandwiches.
They are so damn good. Look at this.
Icee's classic. Okay,
Look at
so
that. Goat cheese for the creaminess.
actually, I'll just post it down so we can eat.
I got some spinach, some dill, some spring mix.
Okay, so now about your channel. So what's up with that?
Okay. My channel. So it's
And
gonna
what do you
probably
think?
be called
Well,
Ice Beans.
Well, yeah, of course, it's already made.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be posting. It's not done yet. I have no videos on it yet. So if you go check it out, it's just gonna be a channel. No videos yet.
We will have links in the description,
You know.
obviously. And so, Icee's channel, we're having a bit of technical difficulties, but originally, well, first thing that's going to be posted on there, a Riga Post trailer, you'll already know. That's the album. So, now, so what type of videos you think will be on your channel?
Well, mostly the backstories of my Rigas and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah,
our
yeah.
songs.
Mm-hmm. We've been eating for too long. Entertain the fans. No ASMR.
I swear I hate ASMR.
Okay, so, now, that's on things. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna have on my channel, but we're gonna have leaks of the Riga Post, shorts, definitely a bunch of leaks on the Riga Post to keep everyone excited for the up and coming album. Now, so, I'm thinking, so a short a day. I haven't posted one yet today, but that's because we're, starting up the Riga Post project. Sorry, the freaking podcast. We haven't really been working much on the Riga Post today, just because of some difficulties, and, just motivation issues. But don't worry, we're back, and I'm thinking after we record this, we'll think of some songs while I'm editing this podcast, actually. So yeah. So basically well, actually, are you ready to end the podcast off? Or you got more to say?
So, I also have someone very special to introduce you. He is 3 years old. His birthday. Should we tell?
No.
We're gonna keep that censored for now. I'm not gonna say until we get more comfortable with it, But Very special.
You know what? Dazzling glasses.
Very special to us. And he doesn't mind showing his face, so he's currently shedding. Well, he just got done shedding his few pieces, but
This is Terry.
our 3-year-old pink dinosaur bounce buddy.
He's also an assistant master.
He has some things on his face we couldn't get off of him. He got some markers.
Yeah.
So if anyone could let us know what's a good rubber marker remover, please let us know. We
There's a
tried
real good
rubbing alcohol. We tried lots of stuff. He's still shaking right here, so. But this is our Terry. That's basically. That's it.
Alright, so
Oh yeah, let me tell you ingredients too. I'm not gonna gatekeep this. The best sandwich ever. Bread, tomatoes,
wheat bread.
spinach, mayo, turkey, goat cheese, regular cheese, any kind of cheese, some spinach, and
Swiss would be better, but we got American.
Yeah.
Or not American,
This
Colby
is
Jack.
a spring mix. It has some dill and some other kind of stuff, spinach like that. And that's about it.
Yep. Alright, well, Dazzling fans, I think we're going to end it off here. So, let me just grab this mic, bring it over here. Dazzling fans, I see put up your mask. Oh. Dazzling fans, you'll probably know what just happened if you showed the short. Yeah. Well, this podcast is way overdue, so let's cue the outro. Hold on. Oh. Yeah. Alright, see you, Dazzling fans.